Hi everyone, welcome back to Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, Volume 5, June, Part 2. Sorry, I had to think for a minute where we were at. I'm just doing a little backtrack before I do the next bit on my vessels. On the weekend, if you saw the travel vlog I just had up, or even my post in the Journal of Stitchery Facebook page, I did go up to Green Door Studios. I did a workshop with Alison and Shuji and learned how to make a traditional Komebukuro or Japanese rice bag. So I thought I'd show it, even though that was the May prompt. You know, it's still stitching. So we all got a little pile. Actually, I've added this in. That was from Melanie. So I just added it in because I felt it had the same antique-y feel about it. If you've seen the travel vlog, you will have seen what the packs looked like. So in our pack, aside from the material, we got this beautiful thread, which is often used for either invisible stitching or just a running stitch that's in the background. And I'll tell you what, it was just beautiful to work with. It's got a real smoothness about it to stitch with. Lovely. So this is what we had, and then in the middle of the table was a whole heap of shishiko threads. Now, the word boro, as I said in the travel video, means old. So some people say boro as the stitching technique, but it's actually shishiko thread and shishiko stitching. So this is really beautiful to work with, but it gives you this way of creating some beauty on a piece that was designed for poor people to wrap presents. So the Japanese are always wrapping presents and giving presents, and you just never give a present without wrapping it beautifully. So in the poorer families, they would make the rice bag. So I hope I'm not giving away too many secrets from the workshop, but this is kind of the sort of stuff that stayed with me, that the tradition of the rice bag came from the poor families not being able to afford wrapping paper or wrapping or beautiful materials for wrapping. So the old and worn, the boro coats, you'll see in the previous video that there's a beautiful old coat that is just falling apart that Alison and Shuji own. So the poorer people would make their Japanese rice bag, and they would put their present in it, gift the present to the person, and if they were all poor, the person would hand the rice bag back so that they could keep using it and still wrapping a gift. So this was my bag, and some of the special pieces. So I got to practice a little bit of the decorative shishiko stitching, which uses the shishiko thread on a boro piece. So that technically that's what we learned was the important thing to know, and to respect those traditions, of course. So I have to say I was just really happy to delve into Alison's very large scrap bag and find things like this old bit of denim with this old ripped seam on it, which really gives, for me, the feeling of a bit of authenticity in terms of it's old, it's frayed, it's ripped. Little holes, we got to do the stitching. I'm not going to say everything about the stitching because it was part of the workshop and I want to honour it a bit, and also I didn't write notes, so I have forgotten some of it. But lots of running stitch, going around holes in fabrics to create newness. So the fabric behind it means that it's still almost like one piece. These were parts of the kit that we got. This was my favourite piece. Oh, I love this. My brother said and I can't remember the name because he said it in Japanese. So my brother, as I've mentioned, has been learning Japanese at university level for quite a while. But the little kind of coats they wear to go into an onsen, he's got one made out of this, so he was a bit excited that I'd found that. Anyway, this was my favourite piece because it was from an old piece of jeans, and you've got all the, like, this whatever this is, it's like from when it was cuffed. I don't even know what this is, like a bit of glue or something that's been there. It's got the lines from the fold where the jeans were folded, the hem, but it's also got this beautiful old stitching. Who knows who did it? Who knows how old it is? Who knows who did it? But I think both Alison and Shuji were very excited that I thought that was one of the best pieces, because it's really paying homage to the authenticity of what the rice back represents. So I loved it. We sewed in a square base. I'm sure you'll be able to find a tutorial somewhere on YouTube if you want to try making one. And we had like a bit of material like this that we made our tabs out of. A couple of the, I kept a little bit of that jeans. Here it is, the patch jean. This is the other side. See, it's like that. Here's the other side. So I got distracted. I was going to tell you about the tabs. We had a piece and it was cut down into 8. So you've basically got your, opposites, and then you do the middles. So 8. And it was such a beautiful, gentle day with the fire going, and Zoe's beautiful food and cakes, and of course Chester the dog. But Shuji was just so sweet. He would come along and he would get a bit of our material, and we'd cut our materials up into 8 bits, and he'd come and take it away, and he'd iron it for us, and he'd bring it back all beautifully ironed into, so this is a larger example, but ironed like this into 3, and then you would stitch with your shishiko thread along here. And yeah, I think that the women just, I think we just all really enjoyed it. The lady next to me said, "Oh, isn't it nice to be having a man ironing for you?" Which I thought's funny because I never iron anything, so it wasn't a big deal to me, but it was nice. He was very humble and very beautiful about it, little things that he did to help. So it was a gorgeous little workshop, honestly, and we just did the shishiko stitching around the outside for putting our bag in. So this is a special wax cord that you use through the little tabs, and as Alison said, when I said, "Oh, everything was cut all the same size, we'd sewn it all up, but then I just had a little bit of extra," and she just laughed because she said it happens all the time. You think you've got everything the same size and perfect, and then there's just a little bit that doesn't fit, but she said it's nice, it's like a little pocket. She didn't mind, I didn't mind, no one minded. And then you basically can do this and you've got your bag, and I love it. I love this experience with people from around the world that show us all these things. Oh, it's great. So I found I had this bit from Melanie from Reclaim Textiles. I've still got a couple of bits of my offcuts. I've still got my little other one of these, which I might use this side. A couple more bits. I would have loved to have done the previous 2 days because they did the indigo dyeing, and they did a lot of, folding and sewing and then dyeing. So that was 2 days before. That would have been fabulous to do. But I think I'll make another bag. Anyway, I I got, while I was there, I got 2 other lots of shishiko thread. So I've got a variety. There was a dark blue there on the table, but I didn't feel connected to that on the day. But I really am thinking I wouldn't mind making a more yellow rice bag and the blue. Anyway, back to the vessels. Now, I've been looking at these all week, and except for the time I was up in Sydney, and I just love them as they are. The only thing I can think that I want to add to them, because sometimes I love the over embroidery and the over, you know, like fleurs, florals, and I love that. But I really just also love the simplicity of this. When I was at Sydney, I did go to the sewing basket. You will have already seen the reveal of what I've picked up there. Just put these over. And I did say I was thinking of putting some buttons down these seams. So let's just have a little trial and error and see if any of these kind of work. So I picked up these ones, which may be a bit big for that bag. I picked up these ones, which are no, too much colour. Too much colour, don't want them. Because I remember saying I was all neutrals, and I was just thinking I've only got this tiny little bit of blue. That's it. I will get out the rest of my buttons because I'm already thinking none of these are quite the right thing. I do love these, but I think too big. These ones might, nope. All right, this might work on here because that's a good size. So 3 of those might work. On here, I think what I might do is go through my stash and see if I can kind of find some smaller versions of these. I'll have to sew them down and see if I'm happy about them over the week. I do like having one down there. I don't know if that might be too busy. Maybe I will eyeball them the exact distance apart from each other. Just eyeball them. I don't know, maybe it's a bit too prescribed. I'm sort of creatively wanting to not be so perfect. Have one definitely up here and maybe 2 down here. I did manage to take my horsewhip up with me to Sydney. I had to go and check. Oh, this might be of interest. I had to go and check the website, the flying website, to see, because I had originally only purchased very cheap Jetstar tickets, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to take a needle or scissors on the plane. So what I learned was that they do allow you, if it's under 4 centimetres, or it must have been inches, under a pair of scissors under 4 inches, if they're needlework scissors, you can take needles. You can even take, because I wanted to know if I could take a crochet hook on. And apparently you can do all of that if they're kind of, you know, kept in a little bag and made sure that no person's going to spike themselves on it. But then I realised, because I put my horsewhip in, my luggage was, I had 7 kilograms, but my luggage ended up being 7.1, and that was without me taking my laptop, because I knew I'd sort of be on my own in the evenings and I wanted to just have my laptop because it's got my Kindle books and I can watch you know, I can stream on it, so I can watch YouTubes and stuff, whereas in a motel room you can't always do that. So I was a bit over my 7, so in the end I just paid from having only cabin baggage to checked baggage, which turned out better because I don't know about anyone else, but when we went to Tasmania, it was good having Huss there because with cheap airlines, honestly, you still will have to walk out on the tarmac with your little suitcase, and then you've got to kind of carry it up the stairs. And sorry, this is a bit awkward what I'm doing here. You've got to carry it up the stairs. You know what I mean. And down the stairs and up the stairs and up onto the plane and then up into the overhead. And making the decision to just pay for the little bit of extra luggage and put it on, so I didn't have to carry it on, actually was a really good relief. I didn't have to lift the damn bag all the time. So it cost a little bit extra, but it was a luxury that was worth it. And if you're on a budget, like I am often, you know, we should still be allowed to do that sort of stuff. You can still buy a cheap budget ticket and you don't have to miss out. You can still do it. So it was very nice anyway. The point of that story is that it was very nice to be able to unravel my horsewhip and use it in the class. No one batted an eyelid, by the way. It was quite a sedate workshop. It was funny. It was like, honestly, compared to the excitement and the raucousness, as I said in the travel video, of a Roxy's workshop, very full and very boisterous. This had the Japanese, that one had the Japanese flavour of a very polite, and not that it wasn't polite at the Roxy's one, but like very Japanese in its humbleness. Great. Now I think I might try and do it this way rather than going all the way through, because that's really, really hard to do. And I want this to sit similarly to the other one. With I'm deciding to do the holes the same way, this way. But I'm not going all the way through because it just is a bit cumbersome, actually. All right, swiveling itself round. And I think I will come down, come in. Oh, no, I'll do it the other way. From this angle, come down, just picking up a little bit of the material. Come down here for the next button. See if I've come down enough. Okay, go around this a couple of times. I've been trying to think of maybe a little stamped bit of material with a word on it. Is about the only other thing I really would like to put on, but I'm still not sure what the word is. The word or words, one for each vessel. Even though I'm not going to spend weeks on these vessels, I do have another idea for another vessel that I want to get started that will match these. In fact, I was thinking I might make a whole heap that kind of are all part of a similar series. Okay, here we go. So there is a little bit of something, a word or something could go there. Now, I still have to work out. I don't think I wanted to use any of these buttons, so I'll just get my other buttons. Okay, I'm just getting some bits. These are, let's put this here so I can, I think I do want to kind of at least make them look mother of pearly. They're not the right ones. Alright, this has got one or two like this that kind of match. Oh, there's two. Let's see if they're still a little bit too big. Not going to put them in the same spot. One little bit of variation. Maybe something like that. Alright, we had these ones. We had one of these pearl ones. We had this one, which I like, and if I had a whole heap of them, probably would have used over the whole thing. But because I've started with the pearly ones here, I don't think so. That's a bit shell-like. I better keep that one out for my mermaid thing. I think these ones are these ones from the reverse cycle art truck. The reverse art truck. Great, but not quite right. Do the vessels need to be exact and match? They do have the same components though. They do have the same little bit of doily. They do have the same bit of this lace. They do have one of these each, or one or more. This one doesn't have this big thing. And the buttons, I think, I don't know, they do feel like they're going to stay as a set. They're not going to be separated. Are these too big? That's my question. I wish I had some of these that were just a bit smaller, but I don't. Beautiful. I could doodle through the buttons box all day. I should stop. Here's some very, very clear ones. Not right. Not right because they don't match those. I like these, but they're a bit yellow. Okay, so that was the end of that. Probably too pearly. I really just need some smaller ones of those, and this is the only ones I seem to have that are remotely like these ones, unless all right, I am thinking, do I need to have buttons down here? Just because I've got buttons down here, what if I just use one of the buttons but I put it somewhere else? Good thinking, Christina. Let's see. I shut these before I have an accident like the other day where everything went on the floor. Let's see if maybe one here would work. So it's not on the seam. It's down the side here. That's a thought. And instead of having it the same way, having it sideways like that. So I guess I haven't done as much today on my vessels because of showing you the other bag, but I know that you'll all love it and be interested anyway, because you all did the stitchery. If you've been following along with the stitchery and doing all the prompts, you won't mind because you'll just enjoy seeing another bag. I hope. Anyway, here we go. Let's put this button on. And I am going to definitely have a think about a word that might work for these vessels. So while I'm looking at these during the week, I'm going to attempt to come up with words that work Maybe they'll just be vessel words. I might get my sketchbook out and have a wordplay moment. See what these mean to me. What does a vessel stand for? Just casting that off. Okay. Not much done to my vessels today. However, I'll be back next week with some new bits and pieces which will incorporate another vessel or other vessels that will be part of a matching group. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that and enjoyed seeing my Japanese rice bag. Beautiful. And thank you for watching and for being here, and thank you to new subscribers, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.